Hello and welcome to Talking Bold with Din and Dan. And this is a show brought to you by Royal Challenge Packaged Drinking Water. I'm obviously Dan and then we have Din as well. It was an ad shoot and I remember crashing that and shooting with Virat and coming out thinking, my God, like, okay, fine, this is my job. My job is to improv and just make stuff up on the spot. It's not his job, but he's so good at it. And then coming into your room and the three of you all taking to it, it kind of blew my mind, and that happens to me year after year because every time I do an interview with him, the fact that he's willing to kind of take a joke and give a joke back, it just baffles me because I'm like, like 2020, 2021, that period when, when IPL was happening in a bubble and there was a lot of emphasis on team activities. I think another person that completely blew my mind was, within RCB there was a entertainment committee that was formed. Okay, and guess who the CEO was, the Chief Entertainment Officer of RCB? Wild guess. No, wild guess. Take a wild shot, DK. Wherever you want to throw this one, you can throw it.
Chris Gayle.
No, these are all very obvious choices. Dale Steyn.
Oh, wow.
And he's so good. Like Dale Steyn would plan these activities and we would do like an improv workshop. We would have like a karaoke workshop. And Virat would come kill there as well. You know what I mean? Like, he would just come kill at every event. And I'm like, how can one guy be this good? And that's what blows my mind all the time.
I know, even I've actually thought about it. I promise you, I've also thought about it because he can dance very well.
Yeah.
He can sing very decently. And he plays TT.
He's very good at that.
Competitively enough. Yeah. I've also thought that God has given one man too many talents.
No, and that's what, no? Like we talk about this whole thing about what do you like about the person. I think for me, of course, the world sees him for the greatness on the field. For me, it's the person that I've met outside where I'm like, how many people possess this kind of, these many abilities? It's like one guy who can juggle multiple things at the same time, sing a song and play a whistle and, it's like, wow, man, this guy is unbelievable. But I guess that's what makes him the Naya Sher all the time because every time you meet him, he blows your mind with something else.
The 2007 T20 World Cup, is there something that stands out that you watched? Anything from your memory?
Mr. Ravi Shastri, he stands out. I mean, India won the World Cup, but Mr. Ravi Shastri just kind of sealed his voice, I think, in history. I don't think anybody can see that moment when Sreesanth took the catch and India won the World Cup without hearing the voice. You know what I mean? Like for me, that was
absolutely
quite amazing. The reason I say that is because, that is playing bold, honestly, because, I come from a space of being a talk talent and whatever. I try and do comedy, which I fail at most times. But I'm saying, when you look at someone like a Ravi Shastri calling it on the mic, right? Like, for me, another really significant moment probably is Ian Smith calling the 2019 World Cup.
By the barest of margins.
It's so bold. It's so bold because a lot of people have stage fright. A lot of people have, the fear of what if I say something and if my tongue slips or if I fumble or whatever. And these guys are on the mic and they're calling these games like Ian Bishop, and that's just magical. The fact that I don't know what it's like in the comm box, like I'd love for you to explain, but do the others just drop their mics and let this guy go because they know it's his moment, or is the producer saying it's his moment, let him call it?
Absolutely not. That's what I said when I meant teamwork. If you do notice that great moment in the 2019 World Cup from the comm box, I put up plenty of videos where Ian Smith is calling that super over. Nasser Hussain put his mic and just sat. He was the second comm. Now there was a third comm there. And he is one of the greatest callers. If you have any doubt, just go and watch when West Indies beat England in Kolkata. Remember the name, Carlos Brathwaite. That was Ian Bishop right there. He wouldn't even talk. He understood it was Ian Smith's moment and just let things be. Both of them for about 5 to 6 minutes wouldn't even touch their mics. there will be one word put in by Nasser Hussain because Ian Smith wanted him to. Ian Bishop will just stay quiet through the whole time. Now that is great commentary.
Yeah.
The ability to have the courage and be bold and say, it's your moment, Ian Smith, go for it, you're the best at it. Now, it is brilliant. And Ian Bishop is outstanding. Nasser Hussain is a very accomplished commentator and they understand. I saw the same in my first tenure as a commentator in the World Test Championship final. Towards the end of it, it was Michael Atherton and a couple of others. But Michael Atherton went and told the director that, you know what, New Zealand is going to take this home, and I think Simon Doole should be the man calling it, because Ian Smith wasn't around. Simon Doole was the man calling it, and I think he should have the moment, and I think he's been wanting it for some time because he's been part of New Zealand cricket and he's been intertwined in that for so long. And Michael Atherton made that bold choice to go and tell the director that it is your moment, Simon Doole, call it, and he will come up with this line. It's not always that good guys finish last.
What a line.
Sometimes the good guys finish first as well.
Wow.
So it was a great line. So, there are moments like this, goosebump moments like this, but all I'm saying is from the back, the commentary, the big moments, there are people who are very unselfish and give it to others. In the 2017 World Cup, it was actually David Lloyd who walked up and said, I think it should be Ian Bishop calling it. And Ian Bishop is the one who called it, saying, remember the name, Carlos Brathwaite. The previous day, West Indies team had gone for an event. And in the event, they didn't know, some of the organizers didn't know who Carlos Brathwaite was. And that's why he'll come up with that line, remember the name, Carlos Brathwaite. And I got to know it later. So, these are the moments that make up the cricket. I think for all of y'all who are watching me, Din, and watching Dan as well speak about this, if you want to feel those moments, just watch those same moments and mute, and it'll never be the same. And then you switch on the telly, then you switch on the volume, then you'll know the difference a commentator can add in terms of values to pictures.
I don't know how far you'll agree with me when I say this. But just as an outsider, right? Just as an outsider who is looking at the game happen on the field. And I'm saying this not that I'm turning on a television and watching it, but I'm saying being a part of a system where the bus leaves at 5:45 in the evening, reaches the stadium by 6:15, then everybody is down to practice at 6:20. Toss happens at 7, everybody goes back in, you come out, 7:30 the first ball is bowled. From an outsider perspective, it is quite mundane to think about it. It is quite mundane. It is meticulous, but it is mundane because people are doing the same thing day in, day out, right? Like I remember watching one of the IPL games, and it so also kind of flows down to the World Cup or any big tournament, right? Where cricket is happening at a rapid rate. The turnaround is very quick. I remember sitting down outside one of the games in the stands, just sitting down and watching and thinking, oh my God, so this guy who's playing right now, who's batting right now, at 7:30 he faces the first ball and he does it every 2 days. It's just that the guy bowling is different. But has it ever felt that way to you? And how does one find newness in it? Because a lot of us, I'm saying, when we're doing the same thing, it can get boring. And this is for years, it's the same schedule. Like at least the guy 5 down or 6 down doesn't know when he's going to come out. Fair enough to say that, at least he doesn't know when he's going to come out. There might be a day when he comes out very early. There might be a day when he doesn't come out at all. So he's hanging around. But for the guy who plays that opening, it's like every day it's the same thing. And like you said, Rohit Sharma for me sometimes just baffles my mind for how many years he's been doing it.
Yeah, I think it's a very different journey. 2013 is when he started opening. In the 10 years, he's achieved a lot more than what a lot of cricketers have achieved. A lot of people always said, oh, Rohit Sharma, talented. Oh, he has time to play shots. And he's lived true to that word in the last decade. And like you said, opening is a very, very mundane, very bland at times in terms of going through what you want to go through.
No, it is very on the dot. It's very on the dot. It is 7:30 first ball. You have to play no matter where you are in the world. You have to come there and play that first ball.
Very true. I mean, it is it's the only thing, as a bit of a cliche, but every day in sports is different because obviously facing different challenges. It's not like you're going to the same restaurant, having the same dosa, you know what the batter is, you know what the taste is. It's a little different to that. It is, obviously the challenges change because the weather conditions, the pitch conditions, the quality of the bowlers, the pressures related to the match. These are the variables. Rohit Sharma going and taking strike as soon as the match starts is a constant. The variables are the other things that happen around the sport. There is weather, there is pitch, there is the quality of the bowlers, etc.
I mean, you said dosa,
Yeah.
so the variation is basically
Do you like dosa though?
Dosa, dose. It's in the same family, you know what I mean?
True. So you're a dosa guy or you're a idli guy?
I have to make this bold choice. I'm an idli guy. DK, I'm going to now take you into the current realm that I have no idea about, and only you're seeing them very close. Every World Cup kind of springs up these Naya Shers in a bunch, right? Like this year, Netherlands beating South Africa. My God, wow.
They've been the most impressive team. You got to understand what a journey they've had. When they walked into the World Cup qualifiers, they had a few important players who didn't represent Netherlands because they were busy representing their counties in England. And there are three important players: Colin Ackerman, Roelof van der Merwe, Paul van Meekeren. And in spite of that, they played the World Cup qualifiers, went all the way to the final and hence qualified, and then they've come to this World Cup. And a lot of teams thought that subcontinent conditions they could get rolled over, but man, they've been so good. They've competed in every match, even better than some of the nations who have been playing cricket for some time now. They beat South Africa in Dharamshala. And speaking about Naya Sher, you can't leave out Afghanistan. What a journey they have had.
Wow.
Just been inducted in the last decade in international cricket. The way they played against Pakistan, the way they played against England, Pakistan more so, just chasing such a heavy total. They're a very good T20 team, and everybody were like, why aren't they such a good ODI team as well? And they showed the world what they're capable of. You just jog down memory lane a little further. In 2007, it was Bangladesh and Ireland. Now, Ireland beating Pakistan, Bangladesh beating India, and then they go into the Super 8s, and they had a terrific World Cup in 2007. If we go slightly further back, 2003, Kenya went to the semi-final of the World Cup. What a story they've had. And over a period of time, there are always teams which punch a little bit above their weight, and that's always been New Zealand. But there have been minnows, and I don't like the term, but for the moment, let's just call them, lower ranked teams. But they always produce a few upsets, and I think this World Cup, it's been all about Afghanistan, and I won't be surprised if Netherlands surprise a few teams more in this World Cup. And they're playing a lovely brand of cricket, very tactical, very bold, very true to what they are good at, and they're quite the team to watch. And Afghanistan, considering the amount of turmoil that happens in their country, this sport gives them a lot of joy. You see the celebrations across social media as to how they were celebrating post the win against Pakistan. It's a great story, and I think we're just very privileged to be part of a World Cup which is causing upsets. It is not great for the team that loses, but for the team that wins, at the lower ranked teams, it is quite the story.
But it's,
and who doesn't like
it's always
underdog winning?
Exactly, the underdog story, right? All of us enjoy that because, like we discussed earlier, right? It's basically about giving hope. It's about that fight that you take something from. DK, just to kind of move forward, what have been some of the bold choices you've made in your life?
I believe my biggest strength through my cricketing career was the number of times I was removed from the team and the number of times I made a comeback. So every time I had to come back into the team, I had to reinvent myself, which was a bold choice at different points of time. At times I had to work myself to be an opener. At times I had to work myself to be a finisher. So I've done varied roles, and I had to take bold choices when I went back to domestic cricket. When you're playing international cricket, there's a luxury of 1 million people watching you. When you go back to domestic cricket, there are 0 people in the stands. So to constantly keep motivating yourself with the ultimate goal of trying to become the best version of yourself and representing the country. Now, if you want to achieve that, and if you're coming from a country like India where the sport is treated as a religion and there are millions playing the sport, you need to constantly take bold choices of reinventing yourself, of trying to constantly scale the ladder. You need to make decisions which are hard in nature, and I think that has been my biggest takeaway from playing this sport. And you as well. I mean, we can always speak about cricket and make it feel like, wow, that is great. But in your life, you've started out as someone who speaks really well. You always have this humor in you. You're part of improv, which is a stand-up comedy team, and then now you've become an actor. These are bold choices you've made. Did it all happen organically, or was it like a thought-out method behind what you've done?
No, I don't think I had thought about it at so much length. I wish I could have architected any of this stuff. I think a lot of people work hard. A lot of people are way more talented than I am. I just think luck has played a very big part in all of this. I think sometimes it's just destiny that takes you places. Because when I was in college, I still remember. I'm talking about 11th and 12th. A lot of my friends wanted to were writing the common entrance test to get into engineering or medical colleges, and I think that was the bold choice I made back then. And I'm talking about things at least about 17 years ago, 18, geez, yeah, you age and then you forget, but 17, 18 years ago, I think at that time to choose to do something else, which is to get a graduation in visual communication or mass communication like I did. I think at that time that was a bold choice to say I'll be an entertainer. I think that was that, and then I think it's just been luck.
I think you're being very modest here, aren't you? I think saying luck has played a big role. It has. I mean, every successful person in his life, and they'll always attribute some of it to luck, but they say the harder you work, the luckier you get, and I'm sure that's very true to what you've achieved over a period of time. I think the bold choice is not what I did in Nidas Trophy. It's when I united with my coach Abhishek. That was a bold choice. He was a player then, playing cricket, and to have taken, to have approached him and said that, can you help me with things? Now that is a bold choice. I believe that the choices you make in life determine who you become over a period of time. And for me, to take that big step and say he is the Naya Sher as a coach who can guide me through these uncharted waters, I think that was the decision, because then we started practicing for those tough situations. He modeled my practice around what I would be facing in matches, and then when the Nidas Trophy came, it was just an extension of what I was doing in practice.
So if you had to go back and tell your younger self to make a bold choice, what would that be?
Probably hold on to my ability to bowl leg spin. That would have been a bold choice. I think I was a really good leg spinner. I think an all-rounder would have been something that I would enjoyed being. I just gave up on it because I probably felt I was slightly short, so keeping will come a lot more naturally to me, and it did happen. So size played a part, and the fact that I didn't think twice about making that decision. Again, like a lot of things, like you said, luck, it just happened by accident. One of the practice matches, the keeper didn't turn up, so the coach said, why don't you keep? And I did it for the first time and fell in love with it, and that's how I just became the keeper batsman that I ended up being.
It's a very dumb question, but when you wear keeping gloves and catch the ball, does it hurt lesser as compared to just holding the ball without gloves?
Yes, it does. It helps.
It helps, right?
But also the moment you wear the keeping gloves, it becomes a thankless job. Because you're wearing keeping gloves, people think you're like Spider-Man. Anything that comes anywhere close to you, you're supposed to hold on to it. And you're always remembered for the ones that you've missed, never for the ones that you've taken. So it becomes a bit of a double-edged sword, so to say.
DK, this has been an incredible conversation, talking about life, talking about cricket, the game that all of us love so much, talking about players, talking about people who've constantly reinvented the wheel. The fact that we've spoken about so many Naya Shers and people who've played bold. Two questions, right? One is the Naya Sher for you that everyone should watch out for the future.
I think it's what we're seeing already. Shubman Gill looks like the one that's earmarked for the future. I would keep a very close eye on the other three names that we discussed as well. Yashashvi, Tilak Verma and Rinku Singh. I think they have a great future in white ball cricket for sure.
And
if I had to say one right now, I think the choice would be Shubman Gill because of how well he's playing. He's already shown the world how good he is.
I think for me it would be you in the com box, the Naya Sher to watch out for. You're going to just take over the entire broadcasting universe. One more. We need a bold answer for this. Who's winning the World Cup?
I have no doubt in my mind.
I think I know the answer. India, right? Yeah, even I have a feeling it's India.
They are the best team right now. They're the most skilled team. They're playing the best brand of cricket and they look very fearless. And that's got all the ingredients you require to win a tournament.
Fair enough. All right. Thank you very much. Guys, I hope you had fun on this special show called Din and Dan, brought to you by Royal Challenge Package Drinking Water. It's been great fun. Thank you, Din.
Thank you, Dan.
And with that, we would like to say bye-bye to you. Thank you so much for watching us on this very special show, Talking Bold with Din and Dan, brought to you by Royal Challenge Package Drinking Water.